exactly as jointed, no, close enough ish. Instead of rows, instead of pull downs. This is heavy. 4 parts in this row is not nothing. But this is light enough that I can still hold it at the top and give it squeeze before I can kind of reach the stretch. So this will be controlled. So later on, maybe if I finish with like seated cable row or something machine or something, I'm gonna get a little nastier. Purely for the sake of trying to use as much blood flow into my back as possible. But in the beginning, it's hard to go wrong with something, that's for sure. Really, I have two muscle groups for me that I almost always want to. Let's do one more. Same style, same everything. And then I think that row is.
Grand Canyon University, people even equal opportunity in the American youth starts with purpose. By honoring the sacred recognition person.
Energy in, energy out, macro control. And not only that, but also like the self-control that it takes to go through that process. Because you can't, there's no denying it. Being essentially in a state of, perpetual hunger. Not the easiest thing to do, especially because there's nothing forcing you to keep going. There's absolutely no law that says you can't stop and go and get a freaking big ass meal. There's no law that says you can't go in the pantry and grab some snacks and eat some ice cream and just overshoot your calorie goal. There's nothing forcing you to do it. And frankly, it's depending how long it goes for, but if you got to lose upper, but if you're aiming to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds, it's not a quick and go. It's relatively quick. I mean, I've seen like 100 pounds over the course of just about a year. You think that's going to be that. But that's the easiest freaking way in the world. So that's where I think the argument of what's harder, skinny to buff versus overweight to buff. The overweight side is force exertion, where you can push as hard as you can, the weight isn't moving, but let's say somebody got halfway up on a squat, and then now they're kind of stuck at that halfway. Or machine or like press or whatever. I mean, if somebody's fighting, doesn't have to like be totally under the machine. You only use your whole body weight to move it. It is an average 10, 20 pounds, and that way will start to move up. I mean, there's certainly a limit. I wouldn't want to get to the point where somebody's spotting me in the press and I'm going to actually crush them because I can't get the weight together, even as I can do it. But with the assisted reps, there's some in terms of just any kind of intensifier, I think assisted reps are kind of hard to beat. So that's definitely one benefit of if you're talking to some of the guys that maybe they're playing lessons with and guess what? 90 times out of freaking 100, they're going to say that. Even if they've never seen the week before, when you help me in some goal, I got 10, but you can help me do like 5. I've lost. Like one is weird. And then, who's to say that guy didn't want to ask you for a spot or something? But who was saying this because he was on the zone or something like that. But it means something. Show me the montage too. I have like a 2-parter kind of thing. I really wish I got more videos when I was like months before. I know that somewhere there's videos on like an iPod Touch where I'm doing 1/3 and it's like that's a max bench back in the basement. Find all the people's hard so that's all I got. I'll see you tomorrow. Guaranteed arms and potentially forearms. I don't want to make it a little round because my forearms are small, but big forearms. It's pretty cool. And I think I might need to, see, a lot of the forearm work I do is kind of just rough-ish. Like it's nothing directly grip-based. Like I don't have like a grip machine or something like that. I just use the curls, which I think is getting solid. But I feel like I'm adding grip as well. Maybe, if you're deep in the grip tree, if you've been to recommendations, you're up. That's all I got. Talk to you later. It's got me back up to the 260s, which is quite a feat. And I remember, this was a couple of years ago when it was one of the bulks where I had hit 250 before, so 260 was kind of low, and I was getting real stuck with that 255 mark. And I was like, seriously trying to put my feet over there. I'm talking over and things that you want to feel like you're looking at yourself, but you're still a little cold just because you're not being pumped up. I mean, it's still gets a little tricky to really feel it. Like when I'm doing the incline step, I'm saying I'm going to chest. It's loaded, but I'm going to feel much more rep by rep if my chest is already sort of up to the T first. Plus, if you've ever had like a serious tweak, like you have to rotate it up or something, then it looks like that when you start with the lighter movements first. And frankly, I think just like in an overarching above station, and you're kind of, because you're starting. The full length and run, 10-second eccentric. Otherwise, you start something noisy. I've been watching a lot of TikToks about this. I know what I'm talking about. Snort like here, length or partial. Here. Partial. That's what you want. Don't squeeze. Squeeze it, you know, call it stretch. Yeah. Stretch is vaulted. Squeezes. No. This one more than one wide up. through chest. So as a light squeezing day, that was freaking perfect. And some people might argue that those 3 light squeezing sets of the flies were, some people would say that wasn't an effective set. Because they're going to think, I don't understand the hate on the squeeze. You know? It's like, it's not major, but never got to go into it. I'm talking about the extremes. You know, it's like there's, it's straight up being 2-party system. Old school gross science ego lift version on this side, science based on this side. And frankly, this isn't like mastered like that because one workout doesn't really do jack. You know, like if I slid myself into a multiverse right now, and there was one version of me that did this chest day in this bulk, and there's a version of me that didn't do this chest day, the end result's probably nearly the same. And you won't notice any difference. As long as I ate the same food and the same the rest of the workouts, you know, one drop in the bucket. So what I'm trying to get at is how meaningful is the core workout. Just changing what are we doing this time? Making sure the intensity is up there, whether you're doing like a heavy crazy day or a big squeezing, it's more potential. And so you just kind of feel just bored and lack of just surprise and interest. Because I think in the gym it was always Smith, Peck, machine chest press, 3 sets of each on repeat. I'm really bored. So apart from the fact that it's probably just the less ideal for field games, it's just always fun. And so that's where I like what they're just the candidates in general. Because once you've got a good grasp of like the basic gist of what you're doing, change it up. You know, there's absolutely no harm in trying new shit. Right? I mean, I've only seen people do that single arm press. I've never actually really done it in my own workouts before today. At least not to any meaningful. So we're going to guess one. I've never done that exact movement. I wasn't sure I was going to do it. But that's fun. Try something new for me. Or at least on a consistent basis. And then what you at least for under, this is a very efficient way to lift. Right? If I'm ever in a crunch, I would almost always do under just like this, rather than do all tries and all bodies back and forth. Just because it's quicker now, you know. Instead of set, rest, set, rest. It's almost a kind of combination of it. Now it's turned into set, rest. Now that rest might be a little bit longer because obviously you're going to get your breath for 2 sets, push downs in the curl, and curl the prefer. But if somebody really had they'd like to get a pretty reasonable outcome. I would probably want a little more than I think around 30 is probably a better. Oh, it's too early. Let's do the 55, so that's one. But one more. Oh my God. Oh crap. Pretty exhausted before I go over there. At least reasonable surplus to just have more freaking happening step, you know? Like when I'm super flat, sub 200 grams of carbs per day, I mean, I'm just not, no. I mean, there's definitely some kind of effect. I mean, just having more glycogen, because more protection, everything else that goes into play, but when you got good freaking belly full of food, you digest it pretty well, and you're walking to the gym fresh and strong, I mean, at least on a set-by-set basis, as far as I'm concerned, you're really putting yourself in a situation. The harder you can go on these sets, the better your workout's going to be. And it's like, dude, you got a ton of food in your system. Why don't you hold back? Like, I'm not, because I don't want how you can kind of just have a simpler approach. You know, it's kind of like it's like the fallacy of complexity, right? Like, what's a better system? You know, some kind of restaurant where they're making the chefs cook 100 different, you know, dishes and everything else, or like, you know, one old barbecue stand where all they use ribs, but they're the best damn ribs of Kentucky or something like that. Right? You know, it doesn't always mean that anything's more effective or important. It's just kind of, you know, flashy and, you know, oh man, this guy's workout is so complicated. He must, every bit of it must be the fact he thought of it. But, I mean, that's what I see. You know, like, I'm not saying don't learn, don't try new shit, but, you know, don't just, you know, don't think more is always better. Because, you know, if all days from now on, you're only dumbbell curls and tricep push-downs, rope and cable, rope and like easy bar, or rope and straight bar. I mean, the way I hear some guys talk about like lifting, it's like, oh man, I want to do those two movements for the rest of my like lifting journey. Oh, screw it, may as well not even work out, because only doing a few movements won't ever work. You know, I'll get comments. I'll do a chest day. I mean, even this, well, yeah, this arm day was pretty good. There was definitely some bad.